So you're ready to submit M1A1 preparing for a college course assignment. You'll access this assignment through the module assessments or assignments folder. And here you'll see the submission area for the assignment. You'll need to download the template. And you'll also want to open up the rubric, as this will guide you. Once you download the template, you'll open and you'll have to enable editing. Since this is a template, you will be typing directly on the form. If you have any issues, you can always email me and I can send you a PDF copy and see if that works better. I also have provided you with a link to the Google Drive, and that might help with downloading if you're having any issues here in Blackboard. So the purpose of this assignment is for you to prepare for success in one course. Obviously, the idea here is as you learn to prepare for one course, you will extend this process to each of your courses so that you will be successful all around. We thought it was a good idea for you to start this assignment identifying a course that you think has the potential to be challenging for you this semester. If you're only taking SLS, then you'll have to use this course. In order to complete this assignment, you'll need to locate your syllabus and your schedule of activities for your selected course. So make sure that you're taking time to gather those up now. And you want to be mindful that you are responding to each of the questions below in 1 to 2 explanatory sentences. This is really important because this is what will give details, examples, and contextualize or personalize your responses, making them different than those of your peers. We know that SLS is a course that teaches generally the habits, the characteristics, and the strategies to be successful. So let's take a look at the rubric and see how we can use that to guide us in developing 1 to 2 explanatory sentences for each of these. So when we look at the rubric, I want you guys to try to work from the MET standard or the full credit column, and that's what we'll focus on here. The rubric is divided into 3 parts. What you need to think about the rubrics and the directions is this. The directions are telling you what to do, and the rubrics are going to guide the quality of what you do. So you should be using both the instructions and the rubrics in completing any of your assignments for this class and for your other classes as well. The rubrics are another way for you to self-monitor and to further develop the skills for writing and thinking at the college level. So you'll notice that this is divided into 3 parts. So the first and the third parts are each worth 10 points, and the middle part is only worth 5. The rationale for that is that the identifying and evaluating a college course part 1 and the barriers and solutions part 3 require you to use your analytical and practical thinking skills as you provide details, provide examples, and make connections to your personal knowledge and experience, but also to your future goals. We want you to be experiencing this course at a very personal level. We know that these are generalized habits, characteristics, and skills that you've probably heard and been taught your entire life. But the idea is that we take that all now this semester and we apply it to our lives so that we can improve in this sense with the one course that you are experiencing a challenge with this semester. So we can take a look at the assignment again. Okay, so identify a course that you suspect as being a potential challenge for you. So here we don't need 1 to 2 explanatory sentences. You can just give me the course number and the title. So what is your purpose for learning in this course? What are the knowledge or skills that you want to develop? Now here, I want you to go to the syllabus. So here's an example of a syllabus from English composition. It's an old one, but where can you go? My advice for finding your purpose, finding your knowledge and skills should come from this first section. In each syllabus, you'll see there may be the general education learning outcomes outlined here. In this course, there's the communication as well as the interpretation and the evaluation learning outcome. But then there are also the specific course learning outcomes that are further defined here. So as far as the written and oral communication skills, you can see that there are 10 of them. And then also for your critical thinking or your interpretation, evaluation, reasoning, and research skills as outlined here. So what you can do is you can pick one of these general, or you can get really specific. And you can say, well, it's really important for me to learn to determine the purpose and audience for discourse because I want to be a journalism major, for example, or a politician, a political science major. So this would be a skill that you would want to focus on and develop. And here's an example in English composition, how you can focus on that skill. So what is your purpose for learning in this class? So here you would state, my purpose for learning is to develop my ability to determine the purpose and audience for discourse. Why is learning and performance in this class important for your future as a college student? It is important because I want to become a journalism major, and as a journalism major, I will be required to do a lot of written and oral communication. A course like English composition will help me develop those skills, but specifically, and you can again tie back to some of the skills outlined here. This course will teach me to construct logical, unified, and coherent paragraphs with topic statements and supporting evidence. It will also help me to reason critically, detect bias, and evaluate claims. This will be important for a journalism major as they sort out credible and accurate and reliable sources for their articles. That's an example of something that you would write in number 3. What do you expect to be difficult about this course? I expect there to be a heavy amount of reading in this class. I've personally heard that we are reading multiple stories per week. This will be a challenge for me because I work 30 hours a week and I'm taking 4 other classes that I've also determined to have heavy reading loads. I have had an issue with time management in the past, and I suspect it will be hard for me to manage my time to get my readings done weekly for ENC and my other courses. What past experiences do you have that may be similar to the identified above? You can maybe tell a story about when you were in AP English last year, and you knew that you were going to have to complete all of the readings and you didn't, and at the end of the year you got a 2 on the AP exam. A story like that, you're connecting it to the past. And then you're asking yourself, well, what past experiences do you have in overcoming a personally challenging task or obligation in your schoolwork? So this is a story of when you tried hard, you had a plan, and you efforted through that plan, and you achieved results. Part 2 is pretty straightforward. You'll be selecting your syllabus, and you'll be using your syllabus and your schedule of activities to answer these questions. Basically what you're doing is you're identifying your major assignments. So these could be your midterms, your final, any capstone project. There will be specific language in your syllabus. In a class like ENC 1102, it might be your research paper. Here you will fill in any dates that are provided. They may not be directly on your syllabus. You may have to go back to your schedule of activities. What information does it cover? Here again, you want to be specific. You can say chapters 1 through 3, but even better if your syllabus is listing out specific skills like commas, paragraph structure. You should be listing out those specific skills. Again, this thinking on the front end will help you connect to the course week by week. as you're preparing for these major assignments. And then what date should you start to prepare for the midterm? This will depend on how much content is covered. But usually good advice is 8 days prior to any major test, you want to start your studying process. So an 8-day countdown. Now studying is not original learning. This is literally your review. You're going to go through the same process for your final exam and any major projects or papers. Lastly, part 3, and again we can go back to our rubric to guide us here. We're looking for complete sentences, details, reflecting clarity of explanations. Responses should be specific and reflect your viewpoint. Again, we're looking for that personalization here. So list 3 factors that could have an external or internal influence on your success in the course. If you just write job, that doesn't give me any information. It doesn't give me explanation. It doesn't contextualize it, make it personal to you and your experience. So here, factor 1, I currently work full-time. I'm almost full-time. I'm working 30, 35 hours a week. My boss often calls me in for picking up extra shifts, and that could really throw me off with my time management, right? So complete sentence that again is giving explanation but also personalizing. And then list 3 strategies that you will use. Again, if you just write here time management, that is general. It's not giving me any explanation. It's not giving me any personal connection. So specifically, how will you manage your time? You might say strategy 1, I will enter all of my due dates for assignments and due dates for my readings in a planner. Strategy number 2, I will give myself a half hour every day of the week to chunk away at my readings. So very specific strategies instead of the generic. Again, you can go to your student success textbook and go through the index and try to find some of these topics and some of these strategies. There's no reason why you have to wait for us to cover them in this course for you to tap into what you think you'll be needed to be successful. So once you're done, you will save this document. I like to save everything on my desktop because it's really easy to find everything on my desktop. I'd relabel it with my name, my last name, save it. Okay, and then once I have proofed it, I've gone through, I've used my rubric and said, okay, if I was Dr. Sedano, what grade would I give this? You go back to the submission area, you'll have to click on the title. Again, here, you'll go through, you'll make sure, did I complete all of these parts? You'll find attach a file, browse my computer. Here, save everything on my desktop. It's easy to find. Here it goes. You'll see that it got attached here. You'll check here to submit your assignment through SafeAssign. Since this is a template, you'll also see the report of the SafeAssign. Since it's a template, naturally we are going to see a high percentage of the same words being used across all submissions. So don't get scared if you think, oh my gosh, it has a 70%, Dr. Sedano's going to think I plagiarized. Don't worry. Your personal connections and your explanations will separate your work from the work of others. Comments are literally for comments, like this was a very useful assignment, and that's if you have. It's if you have a comment, it's perfectly okay not to have them, and then you'll hit submit.